Take a break from your busy schedule and join Harold Sala for Guidelines, a 5-minute commentary on living.
After all that Hezekiah had so faithfully done, wrote the writer of Chronicles, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came down and invaded Judah. Whoa! For a moment, look at life from the perspective of a man who had done everything right. He lived right. He supported the right causes. He was faithful to his family and just in his dealings. He sought to glorify God, who had raised him up and put him on the throne. Who was this sinister foe Sennacherib, who threatened to destroy peace and tranquility? History tells us that Sennacherib, the king of ancient Assyria, was a scoundrel, a violent despot, a liar, a blasphemer, and an extremely cruel individual. The Assyrians began the practice of crucifixion, making execution a public spectacle. History tells us that to destroy the morale of an enemy, they would crucify hundreds of their subjects, a lesson in what was to follow unless they relented. After all that Hezekiah had so faithfully done, says the record, the enemy came to destroy him. Listen carefully, because there's a lesson for you today. If Hezekiah had a pity party, if he thought for a moment what we probably would have thought, like, God, why did you let this happen to me? Haven't you noticed all the great things I've done for you? There is no record of it. The reality is we live in a broken world. When the economy fails, God's people, along with those who blaspheme his name, are all affected. When a tsunami or a typhoon comes, those who have had perfect attendance in their church are not spared the blast of the storm. Funny, isn't it, how we tend to think that because, like Hezekiah, we have done a lot of faithful things, we should be exempt from the pain of an injured knee or a broken heart. So, how did Hezekiah handle the challenge? He wasn't paralyzed with fear. Rather, he immediately took steps to confront the challenge. He called a council of war. He rebuilt the walls of the city. He prepared for war. At the same time, his eyes were not on the Assyrian battle line, but on the doors of heaven. Be strong and courageous, he instructed. Don't be afraid or be discouraged because of the king of Assyria and the vast army with him, for there is a greater power with us than with him. With him is only the arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord God to help us and to fight our battles. Of course, the enemy fought back. He attempted psychological warfare. This all didn't work. Why? Was Hezekiah stronger? No, but God was. And you have to have a very strong arm to win a battle with God. No wonder when the German bombs of World War II were falling on London, King George said, "I would rather walk in the dark with God than in the light with men." God dispatched one angel, just one. Hey, heaven is full of them, mighty spiritual warriors sent to protect God's children, says Hebrews 1:14. One angel, in a matter of hours, destroyed his whole army. So the Lord saved Hezekiah and the people of Jerusalem, wrote the prophet, adding, He took care of them on every side. What more could anyone ask? Life is not always a happily ever after scenario, but there is one thing for certain. It is better to lose in a cause that will ultimately win than to win in a cause that is doomed to failure.
You've just heard Dr. Harold Sala with Guidelines, a 5-minute commentary on living. If you would like to listen to the program again, download a copy, subscribe to our e-commentary, or view other resources, visit guidelines.org. We would like to hear from you too. You can email us at info@guidelines.org. That's info@guidelines.org. Thanks for listening, and we invite you to join us again for the next edition of Guidelines.